Introduction to Composition in Media. All shots are visual adjectives for framing your subject and ideas. Set up each shot to create emphasis on something in the frame. Use these to create mood, feeling, convey an idea, highlight something. Include these shots when creating pre-production plans to help craft your idea. Shot rules. Always use a variety of shots. Select your shots like words for writing. Construct meaning by using the right shot to get your idea across to the viewer. Avoid putting the same type of shot next to each other. Keep it interesting and mixed with purpose. What do you think composition is? In music, in art, and in dance? Wiki says composition is the plan, placement, or arrangement of the elements of art in a work. There's an equation that is used with composition here. So the equation is composition plus technique is intentional framing. Leading line. Leading lines used to direct the viewer's attention to a scene. Draws the viewer's eye through the image towards the most significant part of the scene. It can be natural or man-made. So in this case, this car driving down the road, you've got the lanes on the road pointing you towards the mountains in the distance. Leaving space in front or walking space. This rule incorporates two very similar ideas, breathing room and implied movement. If your subject is looking at something, make sure there is some space for him to look at or move into, something like that. Like this dog has this extra space. Leaving space in front or walking space. This Subject framing. Squeezing the viewer's eye into the place where you want them to look. Drawing this attention to your subject, connecting the subject to the setting. For example, these two little kitty cats obviously sitting on steps on a staircase looking through the railing. These frames can either be man-made or they can be natural settings that just make a natural frame around your subject that you want to take your picture of. The strong center of interest places the viewer's eye in a specific part of the scene, commands attention. It's an instant hook to attract viewers' eyes. Color, shape, placement help direct the viewer's eye. For example, this cat that's laying under the blanket, you just look right straight at the cat. Rule of thirds, making the scene interesting, inviting, composed. Off-center and interesting. Places important elements in the intersections. 3 even columns, 3 even rows. I call it the tic-tac-toe grid. You want the main part of your subject to be where the circles are on these little tic-tac-toe grids. P.S. Your picture does not need to have a tic-tac-toe grid on it to show rule of thirds. Perspective. This is kind of one of my favorite ones to look at because we're going to look at high angle and low angle examples of perspective. Let's start off with low angle, worm's eye view. It exaggerates the size. It makes the subject look larger than it really is. It suggests the subject is powerful, important, strong. These are ones that are really good. You can lay on the ground, take your picture looking up. You can be standing under a tall building looking up or a tall tree. You're just going to make something look taller than it really, really is. High angle or bird's eye view shows the big picture from above, can make the subject feel smaller than it really is, can suggest the subject is less important and less powerful. For example, the bottom right picture was taken from the top of the Empire State Buildings. Looking over these tall, tall buildings in New York City, they don't look very big from that angle. Depth of field. This is where you play with your foreground, your background. You want things fuzzy and clear, out of focus, in focus. So for example, the picture on the left, the mountains, the houses, and everything are in focus, where the icicles are out of focus. The picture on the right, the icicles are in focus, and everything else is out of focus. Depth of field also helps to create layers to direct attention, separates the foreground and background, creates a focal point that captures the viewer's eye, is artistic and styled. Filling the frame. The fill the frame rule simply means that you're looking for distracting background elements and cropping them out by getting close whenever you can. So for example, this little, I'm not sure, elf guy, got a real close-up of him where the background had lots of lights and lots of other busyness going on. Diagonal lines. Diagonal lines in particular can be useful in creating movement and drama in your image. They can also add a sense of depth or a feeling of infinity. So if you look at the railroad track, it looks like it just goes on and on and on. Or the staircase appears to just keep going up and up, but yet it's going deeper into the picture. So a quick review of composition is intentional framing. You need to decide how to frame what is important, set up each shot to create something interesting and special in the frame, frame it to create mood, feeling, show an idea, highlight something, direct the viewer's eye. A frame is special, use it wisely. The formula for successful framing: composition plus techniques equals intentional framing. So you start off with leading line, walking space, subject framing, strong center of interest, rule of thirds, high angle, low angle, depth of field, filling the frame, diagonal lines. Your techniques are close-up, extra close-up, over the shoulder, 2 subjects, medium shot, extra wide shot, and 3 subjects. All these work together to intentionally frame your pictures. Congratulations, you just finished the composition techniques. Now you need to go work through the fundamental techniques. When you're done with that, you'll be able to start working on your photo projects.